I'm 34 years old, and for as long as I can remember, I genuinely believed that family always came first. That unwavering conviction was shattered last Christmas. A close family member, my own sibling, systematically convinced our parents, Brenda and Robert, to exclude me from our cherished annual family trip. And when I finally had the courage to stand up for myself, to voice my hurt, and establish some much needed boundaries, they, my own parents, had the absolute audacity to call me selfish. Have you ever felt that suffocating sense of family loyalty only flowing one way? Stick around, because this story isn't just about a ruined Christmas. It's about how I learned to stand up for myself when my own flesh and blood decided I wasn't worth including in their holiday plans, then had the nerve to call me selfish when I finally set boundaries. If you've ever found yourself drowning in holiday family drama, feeling unseen or unheard, then trust me, this story is going to hit home for you. Go ahead, smash that like button and subscribe to my channel. Because I'm not just sharing my experiences, I'm here to offer real-life lessons that might just help you navigate your own messy family challenges. Now let's peel back the layers and get into the raw truth of how my family betrayed me and how, against all odds, I finally found my voice. Growing up, the mantra, family always came first, was ingrained in me. My parents, Brenda and Robert, taught it to my younger sibling, Jordan, and me. We were supposed to be this tight-knit unit supporting each other, celebrating together, a picture-perfect family. Or so I desperately wanted to believe. I'm a 34-year-old IT project manager, and I've literally poured my life into building my career. My hard work paid off when I bought my own home 3 years ago. Little did I know, this house, my sanctuary, would become ground zero for a betrayal so deep it would force me to question everything I thought I knew about family. My house, a beautiful 3-bedroom sanctuary with a spacious basement, I personally renovated into this cozy entertainment area, a space I poured my heart into. When my sibling Jordan, who's 29, and their partner Casey got married last year, they were really struggling financially. Casey had just landed a new marketing job, and Jordan was in between gigs after leaving their dental assistant position. They claimed they were saving for a down payment on their own place, just needed a little time to build up their funds. Being the supportive sibling I thought I was, I offered them my spare bedroom and that newly renovated basement area at a significantly reduced rent. I genuinely thought it would be temporary, 6 months tops. You can stay until you get on your feet, I told them, truly wanting to help. Family supports family, right? Jordan hugged me tightly, almost too tightly, and said, "You're the best sibling ever, Nat. We promise we won't overstay our welcome." That was 11 months ago. 11 months and not a single sign of them moving out. In fact, they'd settled in quite comfortably, treating my home as if it were their own, but not in a respectful, communal way. Casey especially developed this entitled attitude. They'd leave huge messes for me to clean up, invite friends over without even a heads up, and even use my expensive cooking equipment without a shred of permission. "Casey, could you please ask before using my stand mixer?" I remember saying one day, trying to keep my voice even after finding it caked in dried batter. "It was pretty expensive." Their response, a dismissive wave of the hand. "Oh, come on, we're family. Don't be so uptight about your stuff." These small, insidious incidents started piling up, but I kept making excuses for them. Family supports family. After all, I repeated to myself, like a broken record. I continued grinding away at my job, often putting in those grueling extra hours to secure bonuses that, in a cruel twist of irony, helped subsidize my sibling and their partner's living expenses. This pattern wasn't just about money, it was about their complete disregard for my time, my efforts, and my personal space. They seemed to view my generosity as an endless well, never considering the sacrifices I was making to provide for them. The emotional toll of constantly giving without receiving began to weigh heavily on me, though I tried to ignore it. I rationalized that true family support meant unconditional giving even when it hurt. My best friend Chloe was the first one to truly see the glaring imbalance in my relationship with Jordan and Casey. "Natalie, they are taking advantage of you," Chloe said, her voice laced with concern during one of our coffee dates. "You're practically supporting them financially while they're out buying new clothes and going to fancy restaurants. When was the last time they even thanked you?" I just brushed off her concerns, clinging to my outdated belief system. "Their family, Chloe. They'd do the same for me." I genuinely believed that if the roles were reversed, Jordan would offer me the same unwavering support. This belief, deeply ingrained since childhood, prevented me from seeing the manipulation unfolding right in front of me. I minimized their actions, excused their behavior, and blamed myself for feeling resentful. As December rolled around, I found myself getting genuinely excited about our annual family Christmas trip. For 8 glorious years, we had rented this cozy cabin in Vermont for a week. We'd play board games by the fireplace, enjoy the crisp snow, and just create these beautiful, lasting memories together. It was a tradition I absolutely cherished, a way for us to truly reconnect despite our increasingly busy lives. I had already requested time off work, a difficult feat given my brutal project deadlines, and I'd been meticulously setting aside ideas for fun activities and delicious meals we could all enjoy. I even bought Jordan and Casey special matching sweaters as an early Christmas gift, genuinely hoping to make this year's trip extra special after what had been a challenging year for everyone. Little did I know, this cherished tradition, this symbol of our family bond, was about to be weaponized against me. It was setting the stage for a revelation that would absolutely shatter my perception of my own family, changing everything forever. This quiet, deeply personal anticipation for the holidays would soon clash violently with a harsh, undeniable reality. What I tragically failed to realize was that this year, our sacred family Christmas was about to take an unexpected, incredibly painful turn. A turn that would force me against my will to reevaluate every single thing I thought I knew about my family, and more importantly, my place within it. The cheerful anticipation I held for the holidays would soon be shattered by a harsh, undeniable reality. It was a seemingly typical Tuesday evening in early December. I'd come home from work earlier than usual, a rare treat. As I quietly entered through the front door, I immediately heard Jordan and Casey's voices, animated and giddy with excitement, drifting from the kitchen. My heart sank as I overheard fragments of their conversation. Mom said the resort has hot tubs, spa, where we can get massages. So much better than that cramped cabin in Vermont. I'm glad your parents decided to upgrade this year. Resort spa. This sounded nothing like our usual rustic cabin. A chilling premonition started to creep into my mind. Then Jordan's voice dropped slightly. "I still feel a little bad about Natalie, though. But they'll be fine on their own for Christmas. They're always working anyway." My heart physically dropped to my stomach. Were they talking about our family Christmas trip? The one we'd been taking together for 8 years? The tradition I cherished. Unable to contain the growing knot of dread, I stepped into the kitchen. What resort are you talking about? I demanded, my voice strained. Jordan and Casey literally spun around their faces, registering pure shock. Natalie, you're home early, Jordan stammered, exchanging a panicked glance with Casey. What resort, Jordan? I repeated, my voice steady, despite the mounting anxiety. After an uncomfortably long silence, Casey shrugged. Might as well tell them now, they mumbled. Jordan sighed dramatically. We're going to Colorado this year instead of Vermont. Mom and Dad found this amazing luxury resort. And when was anyone planning to tell me about this change of plans? I asked, feeling the hurt bloom in my chest. Well, Jordan hesitated. The thing is, we thought maybe you wouldn't be able to come this year. Why wouldn't I be able to come? I already requested the time off work. I exclaimed, my confusion morphing into profound hurt. Casey, ever the aggressor, crossed their arms. Jordan, just be honest with them. Jordan shot them an irritated look, then turned to me, their face hardening. Fine. I suggested to Mom and Dad that maybe this year should just be the four of us. You're always so controlling on these trips, planning every minute and showing off how successful you are. I felt physically slapped. Controlling, I plan activities because no one else does. And how exactly do I show off? Come on, Natalie, Casey interjected, their tone dripping with condescension. You're always talking about your big projects, your promotions, your bonuses. Not everyone wants to hear about how great your life is all the time. I couldn't believe it. This felt like a complete grotesque distortion of reality. With shaking hands, I called my mother, Brenda. She answered, Hi, Mom. I said, trying to keep my voice steady. I just heard about the trip to Colorado. There was a long, uncomfortable pause. Oh, Natalie, yes, we were going to tell you about that. When exactly Christmas morning? I couldn't keep the raw hurt from my voice now. Don't be dramatic, dear, my mother said, irritation creeping in. We just thought, with how busy you always are, you might appreciate some time to yourself this year. The audacity of her turning their blatant exclusion into an act of kindness infuriated me. Did Jordan suggest excluding me from the family Christmas trip? I asked, my question direct, sharp, unavoidable. Another agonizing pause. They mentioned you might want some space, and frankly, sweetie, you do tend to take over the planning. We thought a change might be nice for everyone. Oh, I couldn't believe it. My own mother was confirming it. They had intentionally planned to exclude me from our sacred family tradition at my siblings' suggestion, with her full endorsement. I see, I said, my voice hollow, and you all decided this without even asking me. Now, Natalie, don't make this into a bigger deal than it is. My mother snapped, her patience gone. You can use the time to catch up on work. You're always saying how busy you are. Her words were a final, brutal dismissal. After hanging up my hand, still trembling, I turned back to Jordan and Casey, who were watching me with a sickening mixture of guilt and defiance. How long have you all been planning this? I asked, my voice barely audible. A couple of months, Jordan admitted, looking down. Mom found the resort back in October. 2 months. They had been planning this elaborate betrayal behind my back for 2 months. 2 months. While I was excitedly preparing for what I thought would be our normal, joyous family Christmas. The depth of their deception was staggering. That night, after retreating to the cold comfort of my room, To process this soul-crushing betrayal, I called Chloe. Tears streamed down my face as I recounted every agonizing detail. "I can't believe they would do this to you," Chloe said, her voice filled with pure outrage. "After everything you've done for them, especially letting Jordan and Casey live in your house practically rent-free, I keep thinking about all the Christmases where I made sure everyone had a good time." I choked out, remembering how I'd always gone out of my way to accommodate everyone's preferences. This quiet, devastating revelation was just the beginning. The real drama, the true explosion, would only unfold when their carefully constructed facade came crashing down, forcing me to finally directly confront them. The sting of their deception, coupled with the profound sense of isolation, solidified a nascent resolve within me. This wasn't just about a trip. It was about blatant disrespect and a betrayal of trust. "Natalie, this is a pattern," Chloe said gently, her voice cutting through my self-pity. "They take you for granted because you always put them first. Maybe it's time you started putting yourself first for a change." Her words hit hard. Laying in bed that night, I replayed Chloe's words. This wasn't just about a Christmas trip. It was about years of giving without receiving, of being taken advantage of. The question burned. What was I going to do? My ingrained loyalty battled a rising tide of self-respect. The morning after discovering my family's betrayal, I woke hollow, exhausted. My mind churned with thoughts of confrontation, hurt, and anger. Part of me wanted to lash out, but a lingering doubt made me wonder if I was overreacting. Maybe there's a reasonable explanation, I desperately hoped. I decided to try one more time for a calm, rational conversation with Jordan before work. I found them in the kitchen scrolling on their phone, sipping coffee from my favorite mug. A cruel irony. "Jordan, can we talk about yesterday?" I asked, my voice carefully controlled. They glanced up, annoyed. "Sure, I guess." "I'm trying to understand why you'd suggest excluding me from our family Christmas." I pressed, keeping my voice level. "If I've upset you, I'd rather you tell me directly instead of going behind my back." Jordan sighed, dramatically setting down their phone. "It's not one specific thing, Natalie. It's just, you always have to be the center of attention. You bought this house. You have this amazing career. And whenever we're all together, everything has to be done your way. That's not fair," I countered, anger flickering. "I plan activities because I want everyone to have a good time, not because I want control." "Well, that's how it feels," they said, their voice hardening. "Do you know how hard it is to be your younger sibling? Mom and Dad are constantly saying, 'Why can't you be more like Natalie? Natalie owns her own home. Natalie got another promotion.'" I was stunned. I had no idea you felt that way. But excluding me from Christmas isn't the solution. Casey walked in, immediately sensing the tension. "What's going on?" "Natalie's upset about Colorado," Jordan mumbled, exasperated. "Still," Casey said with an exaggerated eye roll, a dismissive gesture that stung. "Don't you think you're being a bit dramatic? It's just one Christmas." "It's not just about Christmas. It's about being deliberately left out by my own family," I stated, my voice trembling. "Look," I continued, desperate for compromise. "What if I joined you for part of the trip? I could come for a few days, and then give you all some space." Jordan looked at Casey, who subtly shook their head. "I don't think that would work," Casey said flatly. "The resort is fully booked now anyway. There wouldn't be room for you." I doubted it was true, but before I could respond, my phone buzzed. It was my mother, Brenda. I answered, a tiny hope flickering. "Hi, Mom," I said. "I just heard about the trip to Colorado." There was a long, uncomfortable pause. "Oh, Natalie, yes, we were going to tell you about that." When exactly Christmas morning, I couldn't hide the hurt now. "Don't be dramatic, dear," my mother said, irritation rising. "We just thought, with how busy you always are, you might appreciate some time to yourself this year." Her attempt to turn exclusion into kindness infuriated me. "Did Jordan suggest excluding me from the family Christmas trip?" I asked directly. Another agonizing pause. "They mentioned you might want some space, and frankly, sweetie, you do tend to take over the planning. We thought a change might be nice for everyone." I couldn't believe my own mother confirmed it. They had intentionally planned to exclude me from our tradition at my sibling's suggestion with her full endorsement. "I see," I whispered hollow. "And you all decided this without even asking me." "Now, Natalie, don't make this into a bigger deal than it is," my mother snapped, losing patience. "You can use the time to catch up on work. You're always saying how busy you are." Her words were a final, brutal dismissal. After hanging up, my hand still trembling, I turned back to Jordan and Casey, who watched with a mix of guilt and defiance. "How long have you all been planning this?" I asked, my voice barely audible. "A couple of months," Jordan admitted, looking down. Mom found the resort back in October." 2 months. They had planned this betrayal behind my back for 2 months while I excitedly prepared for our normal Christmas. The depth of their deception was staggering. Then I noticed a credit card statement addressed to Jordan on the counter. The envelope was open, showing a charge from a high-end outdoor retailer for over $600. "Is that for ski gear?" I asked, gesturing to the statement, my voice dangerously quiet. Jordan quickly gathered the mail. "That's private. You used money that was supposed to go toward your rent to buy expensive ski gear for a trip you were planning to exclude me from." I asked, the pieces of this cruel puzzle clicking into place. "We needed proper equipment," Casey said defensively, "and it's not like you're hurting for money." That comment, that callous comment, was the final straw. It was devastating confirmation. They saw me as a convenience, a resource, not a sibling to be respected or loved. The financial betrayal was a profound insult. But the true breaking point, the point of no return, would arrive with an even more blatant violation of my boundaries and personal space. The stage was set for the ultimate confrontation. "I think we need a serious conversation about your living arrangement here," I said quietly, my voice calm decision solidifying. "But right now, I need to get to work." As I left, Casey muttered, "See what I mean? Always making everything about money." Their disregard for my feelings, their quick jump to financial accusations, only hardened my resolve. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a deep-seated pattern of disrespect. 2 agonizing weeks before Christmas, I came home from an exhausting day. I craved quiet. Instead, pulling into my driveway, I saw unfamiliar cars. Opening the door, I was hit by loud laughter, blaring music, and the smell of mulled wine, our family's cherished holiday scent. I walked into the living room, stopping dead. It was filled with people, my parents, cousins, family, friends. My living room was transformed with gaudy Christmas decorations I hadn't put up, and a massive Colorado-bound banner mocked me from the fireplace. The realization hit me: they were having a pre-trip party in my house for a trip I wasn't invited to. The audacity took my breath away. It was a calculated affront. Jordan spotted me first, their smile faltering. "Natalie, you're home early." "What's going on here?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. Just a little get-together, Casey said, raising a glass of my expensive whiskey, to get everyone excited for the trip. My mother approached, giving me an awkward hug. Natalie, dear, we were going to clean up. We know how particular you are about your things. Her deflection attempt was pathetic. I looked at their faces. Everyone avoided eye contact. They all knew I was excluded and were fine with it. Their complicity hurt as much as the direct betrayal. So everyone knew about this trip except me? I asked, my voice cutting across the suddenly hushed room. My cousin Liam looked uncomfortable. We thought you couldn't make it because of work. That's what we were told, added my Uncle Thomas, glancing nervously at my mother. The lie spread. Before I could respond, I overheard Jordan in the corner talking to our cousin Chloe. They didn't notice me. Honestly, Jordan was saying, dripping with malice. It's a relief Natalie won't be there. All they do is work anyway. Total workaholic with no life. The cabin trips were always so boring with them planning every minute. The casual cruelty of their words stopped me. Is that how my siblings saw me? After everything I'd done. As I stood numb, processing this fresh betrayal, I noticed Casey in my home office. The room I'd explicitly said was off limits. They were showing my father something on my personal computer and had spilled red wine on my pristine white carpet, a dark spreading stain. Casey, I screamed, my patience snapping. What are you doing in my office? That room is off limits and you know it. Casey looked up, annoyed. Relax. I was just showing your dad some photos. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. You're in my private office using my computer without permission, and you've spilled wine all over my carpet. My voice shook with fury. It's just a carpet, they said, dismissively, waving a hand. We'll clean it up, stop making a scene. That's when something inside me truly broke. Months of relentless disrespect, of being taken for granted, culminated in this explosive moment. The wine stain, the intrusion, the contempt. It was final proof my generosity was seen as weakness. Everyone needs to leave, I said, my voice quiet, but firm, a steel resolve emerging. Now. My mother approached, a mix of embarrassment and irritation. Natalie, don't be ridiculous. You're overreacting. Am I? I asked, my voice rising. You all planned a trip without me, lied to my face for months, and now you're partying in my house to celebrate. How is that overreacting? See, Jordan said to the room, as if I wasn't there. This is exactly why we wanted a break. Everything always has to be about Natalie. Selfish as always. Casey added, eyes glittering. Ruining the party mood just because you're not the center of attention. I looked at my family members, desperate for someone to stand up for me. They all looked away, uncomfortable, unwilling to speak up. Their silence was complicity. In that raw moment, I remembered all the sacrifices I'd made for them. Postponing vacations, rearranging my schedule, helping Jordan with interviews, opening my home. And this was my repayment. Cold exclusion, blatant disrespect, insidious gaslighting. The full weight of their betrayal crashed down. I want everyone out of my house in the next 10 minutes. I said, my voice steady, newfound authority. And Jordan, Casey, we need to talk about your living arrangements. This isn't working anymore. You can't kick us out. Jordan shrieked. Where are we supposed to go? I'm not kicking you out tonight. I clarified, unwavering. But things will change. Please get everyone out. As people awkwardly left, I overheard my mother telling my Aunt Evelyn, "They've always been dramatic. They'll calm down by tomorrow." But I knew I wouldn't. Something fundamental had shifted. I saw my family dynamics clearly. I couldn't go back to being the one who always gave without receiving. The line was drawn. It was time to act decisively, reclaim my space and self-respect, even if it meant more conflict. That night, alone in my living room, surrounded by the mess, I picked up a family photo. Had it all been a lie? With tears streaming, I made a decision. Stand up for myself, unequivocally. The next day, after consulting with my best friend, Chloe, and her attorney partner, Michael, I put a plan into action. While Jordan and Casey were out, I changed all the locks and security codes. I carefully packed their essential belongings: clothes, toiletries, medications, documenting everything. I left these in sturdy labeled boxes on the covered porch, along with a formal 30-day eviction notice. It seemed harsh, but Chloe reminded me I was simply setting boundaries, not being cruel. A strange mix of emotions washed over me: immense relief and empowerment, but also guilt and deep sadness. My family had forced my hand, yet I still questioned if I was doing the right thing. By late afternoon, my phone started ringing incessantly. My parents' and Jordan's names flashed. I let them go to voicemail. The messages piled up, each more frantic, angry, demanding. "Natalie, what have you done? Jordan just called us crying. Call us back immediately." My mother shrieked. My father's voice was cold. Jordan's message was a scream. "We're family. You've changed the locks. Where are we supposed to go? Casey is talking about suing you. You're going to regret this." Despite the histrionics, I stood firm. I texted my parents. "I've given Jordan and Casey 30 days notice as legally required. Their essential belongings are on the porch. They are welcome to stay with you. I need space and won't be answering calls for a while." Then I blocked their numbers. As evening fell, I watched Jordan and Casey pull into the driveway. Their shock turned to rage as they found the new locks, then the boxes and the notice. Casey pounded on the door screaming. Jordan cursed. Finally, after more yelling, they loaded the boxes and drove away, presumably to my parents' house. That night, alone in my quiet house, for the first time in nearly a year, I felt an unexpected, profound sense of peace. I had taken back my space. I had taken back my boundaries. And most importantly, I had taken back my self-respect. The painful experience of being excluded by my family ultimately led me to a deeper understanding of what family should truly mean. It wasn't about obligation or blood ties, but about respect, support, and love, freely given and received. By standing up for myself and refusing to be treated as less than I had discovered my own worth, and created a life filled with relationships that reflected that worth. Have you ever had to set difficult boundaries with family members? How did you handle it? I'd love to hear your experiences in the comments below. And if my story resonated, please hit the like button and subscribe for more real-life stories about finding strength in challenging situations. Don't forget to share this video with someone who might need to hear that it's okay to stand up for yourself. Thank you for listening. Remember, true family is defined by respect and love, not just shared DNA.